Our first topic today is how the work of our employees is driving us to become the best run government in the country. And let me see, our first poll question is going to be coming up in a couple minutes. In the State of the County address in February, and some of you had a chance to attend that, I outlined top 3 priorities for the next 4 years. I talked about the importance of confronting climate change and the need for us to tackle the inequities in our society and the lack of opportunity. And I talked about us becoming the best run government. Now, best run government's usually mentioned last in those 3, but it really is the first, a necessary element of being able to deliver on the other 2 and on many other priorities. Our ability to deliver services in the most effective and efficient way is what builds the public trust that we need in order to be able to confront climate change and confront inequities in our society, to take on the other challenges with which you're charged as a government. The valuable work you do each day and your willingness to continually improve is what sets us apart from our peers. So today we're going to hear from 3 employees whose jobs impact the people of King County in very real and very different ways. Their work is bringing us closer to the goal of being that best run government in the United States. We're first going to play a short video of our 3 panelists and their jobs. And there's the screen. Let's roll the clip.
I'm Rayette Fujihara. I'm a senior operator here at the South Treatment Plant.
I'm the public health nurse on the South King County Mobile Medical Van, and we provide medical care, social services, resources referrals, insurance sign-up to folks that are living homeless in South King County.
The main mission is to make sure the boaters have a good time, but they do it safely.
We're located here at the South Treatment Plant primary effluent. So at this point what we do is we bring the flow in. It has time to start slowing down, and as it slows down, the heavy stuff will drop to the bottom and be collected by a collector that's on the bottom. And the light stuff on the top, the organics, will float to the top and be taken out by the skimmers.
Well, our clients are all homeless, and many have untreated mental health issues. And so for many, they actually wouldn't be getting care. We are diagnosing diabetes, hypertension, mental health issues every day that we're out in the field. We are out here every day. We're out patrolling. We have at least 2 boats out, and we're looking for things that aren't safe. And when we see them, we address them.
This stage is our secondary process. It's our first stage. What happens is the bugs come in here, they get air added to them. We add air, keep them at a good temperature, and return food into them. So we return activated sludge into them so they can continue to feed and get happy.
I think what's different about our approach is that we bring the care to where people are at. So, for example, here today, people are here eating their lunch, and we just walk in, hang out, do some outreach, and invite them really welcomingly to come on into the van. And then they can access health care, social services, we can talk about housing, we're signing people up for benefits. So it's really different. People don't have to get to a clinic or figure out the barriers of transportation. We're here where people are eating. And I think that's a real big difference, and what I really love about it.
We're all trained divers. We're all dive masters, and we go through the NOAA working diver class. We've worked very hard over the last 9 years to reduce the number of fatalities caused by drowning. When I first came in this unit, we had a high number of fatalities, up in the 20s, and with education and everything the state has done for the boater education card, we've brought the average number of fatalities down to around 7.
I think the thing I find most satisfying is coming in and seeing what's coming into the treatment plant, how we treat it, and how it goes out to the sound, clean, and safe.
So in the video, you saw our 3 panelists, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming them now. Jim Knauss is Marine Rescue and Dive Unit with King County Sheriff's Office. Riot Fujihara is the Senior Operator, South Treatment Plant, Wastewater Treatment Division. And Anneleen Severynen is public health nurse, mobile medical van, Public Health Seattle, and King County. Welcome. So Jim, we'll start with you. Summer starts in just a couple of days. It may have already started if you're watching a recording of this. Let us know how it's going. And, you know, understandably, folks want to get out and swim or boat on our rivers and lakes. What do you do to help keep people safe both in and on the water?
Well, my unit, what we like to do is we like to focus on education. Education, we feel, is our best asset to help people being safe out on the water. Here in King County, we have salt water. We have beautiful overnight moorage facilities at Vashon where boaters can spend the night at the docks. We got the lakes, Lake Washington, Lake Sammamish, and in both those lakes you can rent stand-up paddleboards and kayaks and all kinds of jetpacks if you wanted to. And these are all fun activities. And then you move further east, you get the rivers. We have 5 major rivers in King County, and the rivers are extremely fun to be out on and float on, raft on, kayak on, and we believe that. You know, educating people as to how to do these different sports is important, and to bring some awareness to the risks that are involved with rivers. For instance, we have 5 major rivers, and 3 of them are very popular for floaters, and 3 of those rivers have hazards in them. And so we've partnered with King County Department of Natural Resources and Parks and the river and floodplain managers, and we've developed a website where people can Google King County river hazards, and the first thing that pops up is a website where they can learn about all the safety issues in the river they're going to float, so they know the water they're going to be in. We train out there. We work with Children's Hospital and the Drowning Coalition, and we bring a lot of education through that group to our local King County pools. So there's swimming programs, and there's sponsorships with local paddle clubs and different private businesses that can help teach people how to be safe. And, you know, inner tubes and pool toys really don't do well in our rivers because our rivers are natural rivers. They're wild rivers. They're not the slow rivers that you see in other parts of the country. And that's what makes our rivers so fun, is that they're faster than most rivers. And our rivers are cold this time of year. And you know, we've developed the phrase cold water immersion or cold water shock. And that's where your body doesn't respond the way it's supposed to respond when you fall in unexpectedly in cold water. So we've brought all this knowledge and education. And we also have a group with King County Parks and Natural Resources, the river floodplain managers, where we came up with some ad campaigns, and we were able to get some funding so we could put out some flyers we mailed to residents. And we even, just this week, learned we won first in the national award for government communications for our audio radio program we put out last year. And we've got statewide, when it comes to boating and paddling, we have the boater education card. We teach the boater education card. The Coast Guard Auxiliary teaches the Coast Guard teaches the boating education. And we partner with all these different agencies, and we try to bring that education forward so everyone has a good time. And it's important to remember that you haven't been out on the water for a while, and what you could swim last year at the end of summer isn't what you can swim today in the cold water. And real quickly, back on our 3 rivers, we have hazards in 3 of those rivers. We got the hazard just down from Flaming Geyser State Park. We've got a hazard up on the Cedar River where the landslide was, just downstream from where 18 and Maple Valley Highway cross. And we also have a major work project going on the Snoqualmie River, downriver from Falls City. And so all those areas for our floaters, they have to be aware. And again, going to our website and looking at that is really important. And this weekend, or not this weekend, but we're going to, the last weekend in the month, 27, 28, and 29, we're doing a national campaign with the rest of the law enforcement agencies throughout the country to bring awareness to boating and drinking. And it's called Operation Dry Water. And we're going to educate people and let them know that still the #1 cause for boating fatalities is drinking and boating. And just last year in 2013, the legislator boosted our BUI laws to make them more severe and more enforceable. So we're going to bring that awareness up and make it a better place. And we're just doing all kinds of outreach, community fairs, and everything like that. To just anywhere we can talk education, we're talking education. Of course, you know, the other side of the coin is we do enforce, and we want everyone to remember to put their life jackets in their boats. And we found some people already this year without their life jackets, and it's a basic thing, but we have to remember. So that's what we're doing.
Great. Speaking of outreach, I do this walk in the shoes of a county employee program, and one of the county employees invited me to come see the work that Natural Resources was doing on the river in conjunction with the Marine Rescue and Dive Unit. And so I got to float down, I think we were on the Cedar that day, float down the Cedar and see some of the hazards as well as some of the restoration work that our county employees are doing. It wasn't really tough duty floating down the river. But it was very, very educational, and it is great to see the level of professionalism represented by our King County employees.
Thank you.
Quick follow-up. So our employees are among those who will be interested in getting out on the water on these upcoming warm weekends. What advice do you have for them, our employees, when they're going out boating or swimming this summer?
Well, I think, again, just remember that the waters are still cold, the rivers are still flowing fast, and you aren't as familiar with your swimming skills as you were at the end of summer last year. So if you're going to go out paddle boarding, or if you're going to go out kayaking or floating down the river, this is a great opportunity to brush up on your skills, go out to the pool, refresh your swimming skills, maybe take a paddling course. There's a lot of places around here in King County that offer paddling schools, how to paddle safely. Come to one of our boating education classes and learn about the safety issues for boating so that everyone can boat safe, and we end up having a safe summer. We want everyone to come out to the water. The water in King County is fantastic. You got so many different opportunities to do everything, saltwater to rivers, and we're excited to have you out there, and we want you to come out educated and ready. Call us.
Great. Thank you, Jim. Rayette, our wastewater treatment plants perform an essential function for all of us, and yet most folks never get to see what happens there. And because you do such a good job, they don't get to smell it either. But yeah. Tell us, what we do as a government and what you do to make sure we're safely treating our region's wastewater.
Well, first I want to thank you for inviting me to talk about wastewater. Usually have a hard hat and steel-toed boots on, so it's a little bit different of an atmosphere for me. I think most people, when you talk about wastewater, they automatically think what goes down my toilet or what goes down my showers. But what they don't really realize is that on average, between the 3 main plants, we treat over 200 million gallons of wastewater a day. As a senior operator at the treatment plant, we're constantly monitoring not only all the equipment within the plant, but all off-site facilities included. So we need to make sure that the treatment or the wastewater comes in and goes through all proper steps of treatment. The operators there work 24/7, 365 days a year. So we're constantly working, monitoring, making sure that all equipment is running. Sometimes that includes pulling bed sheets out of screening pumps or pulling mop heads out, starting equipment, stopping equipment. There's no days off for wastewater, so we're constantly monitoring and making sure that the equipment is running.
Fascinating. I've had the opportunity over the course of time as executive to visit all of our wastewater plants. Sometimes for happy circumstances like the opening of Brightwater, sometimes because maybe something went wrong and we're finding ways to correct it. We have a very high level of treatment and professionalism, and I think that folks have been around here long enough to think back to during my lifetime, we were dumping untreated sewage into our waterways, and many of the places that you patrol to keep people safe were places you couldn't even put your toes in the water. They were so contaminated. Wastewater Treatment Division has done a remarkable job of not just reducing the impacts of an increasing population, but actually reversing environmental degradation and making our environment cleaner. And with the innovations that you're creating, we're not only making our waters cleaner, but we're also reducing our energy consumption pretty dramatically. And I think that is a real success story, and one that most people don't know a whole lot about, although they'd know about it if it wasn't there. So let me ask you, wastewater is one of the most important contributions that we have to protecting our environment. But our plants do more than just treat wastewater, right?
Yes. I mean, the thing is, it's crazy to think as recent back as the 1950s, they were sending untreated sewage into our sounds and our lakes, polluting our water, killing our aquatic life. And today, since our utility has been formed, we are treating the water, not only treating the water, but the steps that we go through to reuse the materials. Mm-hmm. So, for example, at South Plant, all of our water used throughout the plant is our own treated water. Our clean water is used throughout our plant. We pull the solids out of the system and we form it into biosolids known as loop. That stuff is then sent out into land application in forest to help save fertilizer from being used. We pull the methane off of our digesters and reuse it for heating our buildings, our digesters. We scrub our gas, sell it back to PSE. We have a reuse system that we go through and go through an ultimate step of clean water through a sand filter. And now the golf courses and the, golf courses and the soccer fields are using it for water. So we do more than just produce clean water. We're constantly looking at new ways to improve efficiency or use the materials that we have. Our main goal is to protect the public health and the environment, but also reduce waste. So we're constantly trying to improve on that.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much for your service and that of your fellow wastewater division workers. We are, I think, in many ways a model for others around the region and around the country, and hopefully even north of the U.S.-Canadian border.
Thank you, and I do want to say that the people within wastewater, they take pride in it. I mean, it's like you think of it as being wastewater, but reality to us is we see what comes in and what goes out and how we're protecting everybody. So it's a great field to be in.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much. Anneleen, the work you do impacts some of our most vulnerable residents. What is the mobile medical van, and how is it helping the people of South King County?
We definitely are helping some of the most vulnerable citizens of South County and of the entire county, and it's a complete privilege to work on the van. Just to give you a little bit of a background, we provide no-cost health care and social services to people living homeless in South King County. We work 4 days a week. I'm on the van every day, providing medical care, social services, as you saw in the video. We actually, what I think is unique about our program is we go to community meal programs. So a meal is actually being served at 8 different sites that we repeat and in 7 cities in South King County. And we go to these sites and actually go in and do intensive outreach where we go in and build trust in the meals. We don't expect people to come to a clinic. A lot of our clients couldn't do that for many, many reasons, including a lot of untreated mental illness. So by virtue of being where people are getting some of their most basic needs, we see a lot of people that wouldn't make it otherwise to medical care or social services. They come in and we have an incredible team. I'm so happy to talk about my role, but really my role with a team of social workers, benefits worker, a doctor, and an outreach worker. We're a collaboration with HealthPoint, and that's a federally qualified health center in South King County. Each and every one of our meal sites has one of the HealthPoint clinics nearby. And the unique part of our collaboration is that on the van, you have HealthPoint staff there. So we can see someone and actually treat them and see them for a medical condition. We have a dispensary, we can give out medications, but we can also link them to care. So if someone feels ready to go into care, we will one of the HealthPoint staff will actually do intensive navigation and case management to get them to help them get to an appointment. And that's really a unique sort of, it's not just here's a referral to the clinic, call. It's, I'm going to call for you. Can I meet you in the waiting room to make sure that you feel safe? Do you want to maybe first see our doctor and have an extended time period with our doctor so that you can, maybe you haven't been to a doctor in 10 years, and it's going to take a while to relearn or learn how to get into the healthcare system. So these are some really important aspects of our mobile van program. The basic care that we offer is it's walk-in medical care visits on the van, but also the social workers, one specializes in psych and one specializes in housing. So we can actually do housing first, link people up to housing resources, chemical dependency resources. We provide psych assessments on the mobile van. And when we link people to HealthPoint, they can get not only health care appointments, but behavioral health as well. And I think one really great outcome of our program is in the 850 clients, unduplicated clients we saw last year. And many of these come back again and again and again, so we're seeing more than that. But 60% identified a mental health need when they came in, and I'm forgetting that number, but 50%, the 60% who identified that need actually completed a psych assessment with our clinical social worker. And 50% of those actually went for a mental health appointment. So that's a huge, compared to other programs throughout the country, that's a really high number. And I think that's because of our trust building.
Interesting. You know, there's this movement, and something we've adopted, and it's part of our Health and Human Services transformation, where we're really paying attention to focusing on the client as opposed to the program. And so when we meet someone, we're able to assess, you know, what is it you need, and who can I connect you to? And it sounds like on your mobile van, it's not just about the service that you directly provide, it's about helping make sure that the person is getting the right kind of help to move along and get back on their own 2 feet. Is that about right?
Definitely. And it's about the relationship that we build with the person in order to make that happen. Yeah. Absolutely.
So earlier on, I mentioned one of the priorities I articulated for my second term, and it's equity and social justice, making sure everyone has a fair chance at success here in King County. And you know, this seems to go right to the heart of that. Maybe that's not a question, but a statement. But am I right?
Absolutely. And I think part of the reason that I love this job so much is we're focusing on one of the areas that we see a lot of the inequities, yeah. South King County. I mean, you look at, you know, Auburn, there's some areas of Auburn have a 10-year discrepancy between mortality rates to some areas of Seattle. So the fact that the van goes to all of those sites, we're targeting South King County, and also through us going to community meetings and all of our staff joining different various coalitions in South County, trying to also improve the infrastructure of service delivery. So I think exactly we are, and I think the trauma-informed care approach, where our team really understands the kind of traumas that many homeless people have been through, and by meeting them where they're at and having that approach, I think we're much more effective than if we were not aware of those issues.
Well, I think that our three panelists are illustrative of the level of quality and commitment and professionalism represented throughout our King County employee family. And I hope you'll join me in thanking them, and by extension, all the folks they work with, for a job very well done. Thank you very much.